Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Now today we're doing episode 4 of my Spin Out TBR challenge, where I spin a wheel and whatever prompt it lands on is the book that I have to read off my physical TBR. Now we ended last episode with more books read than unread on the shelves, and I would like to keep it that way. Since that video ended, I've only really added one book to my shelves and I'm currently reading it. So in my head that means that I technically haven't added anything to the TBR because it's going to minus straight away. So we're hoping to go into this video with some good vibes. I'm just coming out of a book slump. I'm high hoping very positive vibes for the rest of this month. I'm hoping that I can read some books that I really enjoy. Now, in other episodes, my goal has been to get books off this bookshelf that I don't particularly like, and that's going to continue in this video. So if I'm not interested in a book when I start it, it's going to just come off the shelves. Honestly, I don't have the time or the patience for anything that's not going to be enjoyable for me at the moment. So yes, if I grab a book, I will make a decision whether it's a book that I'm just not in the mood for right now, or whether it's a book that I just am not interested in anymore, because I got some books on this shelf that I bought a fair while ago and maybe they're just not my vibe anymore, which is okay. We go through that often, and at the end of the day, these books will end up going to better homes that are going to enjoy them more. So without further ado, let me get up the wheel. I'm very excited to see what we can come up with on our spins today. So here's my wheel of prompts that I'm going to spin to see what books I'm going to grab off the shelves. They are very much trying to keep with mood reading, but there are a couple on here that will force me to read certain books or force something else to choose for me. So I haven't added any since last time. Like I said in previous episodes, if you haven't been here, I do add to this if I think of anything else, but at the moment we're at the same wheel. There are a lot of prompts that I haven't had yet, so let's see what we spin today. Okay, I literally just said that I'm going to read some good books. Okay, I need to pick the book that's most likely to be unhauled off my shelves. Give me one moment. I know exactly what book that's going to be. Okay, so acknowledging that a lot of the books that I've read recently are books that were on my bookshelves that would most likely be to come off, I didn't have many options of ones that I know that probably won't reach it for me. But I have two that I often look at and go, I really don't want to read that right now, or I don't think that's going to end well if I'm not in the right mood. And at the end of the day, these are books that are on my shelves and take up room. They could be really good, and I could be completely wrong, mind you, but I do also acknowledge that I bought these books, out of all the books on my bookshelves, I bought these books just because someone else was raving about them, and it wasn't necessarily someone that likes books that I like. So we will have to see what I think. But the first book is If He Had Been With Me. I believe that I bought this because someone said it was one that literally makes you cry. And I wanted to get books at the time that made me feel things. And I think at the same time that I bought this, or around the same time, I also bought The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart. That definitely made me cry. That was definitely a tearjerker. But I think, I don't know for a fact, obviously I'm not looking these up at the moment, but I think because this is YA, and it's a YA romantic tragedy, I think, I don't think that it's something that I'm going to be into, but it's on my bookshelf. I also have the second book that apparently happens at the same time from a different perspective. At the end of the day, this is a book that I really just haven't been into reading and is likely to come off my shelves if I do read it, no matter whether I like it or not. I actually think that this is one of those books that I'm never going to reread, so once I read it, it's gone. So whether I like it or not, it will come off the shelves. And the next book that I grabbed is the only other book that I think that would be in the same predicament as the other one, but it's definitely in the fantasy genre, which is Crown of Feathers by Nikki Powell Prado. Now, I've saved another one of her series to buy or to read, which I believe is called The Bonesmith. And I don't know whether that one's more popular or better or newer or whatever than this one, or this one comes in that category. I actually have no idea about this one. This is a book that I bought because someone who owned books that I really liked also owned this. So I bought the box set of this because I found it really cheap. So I have all 3 books. I'm assuming, again, fully assuming that this is also YA. And I'm at the point now where YA either hits or it completely misses for me. And so this is likely to come off my shelves. This is likely that I won't even finish it, who knows? But I have a feeling that when I finish it, it would have to be really, really good for me to keep it and to want to finish the series. So I'm thinking about these 2 books and which one I'm more likely to unhaul. I think it is this one. Like I said, even if I do like it, it would have to be a full 5 stars for me to want to keep it, because I'm probably not going to reread something like this, and I only keep favorites on my bookshelf, ones that I did enjoy. So I think this is the option. I do acknowledge too, I'm pretty sure I was told that if I didn't want the ending spoiled, if I wanted it to hit harder, then I should skip the first chapter. I think that's what they've said. I might have to look that up again. But I think the first chapter gives away the ending. So for my experience, I think I want to skip that because I want this book to do well, even though it's being picked as the most likely to unhaul. And I think for my experience, not knowing what happens at the end, the tragic ending, I think that might do better for me in the end. So I will update you when I'm a little bit through this. Again, skipping chapter 1 until I finish the book. I might go back and read it then.
Okay, if you see a mess behind me, no you don't. It's not there. It's invisible, I swear. So I've now finished If He Had Been With Me. Yep, that's the name. I finished this within 24 hours, probably within 12 hours actually. This was a very quick read for me. Now, I'm glad I skipped chapter 1. I'm glad for that at first because that would have given away the whole plot. Goodreads gave it away. The Goodreads blurb gave it away. Don't read that if you want to be surprised by this book at all because it'll give the whole thing away. The chapter 1 gives it away. I went back and read it and it does in fact give away the ending. I think because I expected the ending, it just didn't hit as much as I wanted it to. I've had people that I've seen read this book have been bawling their eyes out at the end, inconsolable, and I just didn't connect to it the way that they did. This is essentially following Autumn and Finn in a way. They're like childhood best friends. Their mothers are best friends, and they grew up basically as a family. And I think it's as they go into high school, they start to separate apart from each other, and it's basically the high school experience while they're both trying to deny each other that they have feelings for each other and that they're meant to be together. The way this ended, yes, I can see the shock factor. Yes, I can see why it made people cry, but I think the tone of voice of the character in this, because I think it's sort of written like her diary entries or like she's writing a story. It's very straightforward. I believe it's a modern high school setting, and she calls their mum's mother. Mother doesn't let us do this. The mothers wouldn't let us in the same room together, stuff like that. I just think I disagreed a little bit with the voice that was taken in this, and it did disconnect me a bit. Don't get me wrong, it was a super fast read, super easy to read, great story that it has. I just didn't like it as much. I have got it at a 3-star because I can see that it's good. Clearly it was good. It just didn't connect with me the way that I wanted it to, the way that it should have. And this could be because I'm in Australia and I'm uneducated on this, but I don't know how old these characters are. But there's like things happening in this book that seem like they should be 18 maybe, but I'm getting 16-year-old. But I think in America, can you go to college when you're 16? I'm, look, uneducated as hell. In Australia, for the most part, you finish high school at 18 and you go off to university. Like, I don't know any of the American sort of thing except from movies, and I'm not that well versed on the age that people are, but that's the age group we're looking at. And so when we finish the book, the character is still quite immature in that way for something that's about to happen to her or that has just happened to her. So it's just different things didn't connect with me. I personally don't think that I will have a need to read the second book, because the second book happens at the same time as just in other people's perspectives. And I think that also means that it sort of has a little bit of after. I also think it has her perspective in it as well. And I think I got enough from this book. I think I get the gist. I'm not that invested in it. So I think together these can be unhauled off my shelf. I'm not going to go back and read this book. As much as it was a 3-star, and that's not a bad rating at all, I'm not going to go back to these. So they're going to come off my shelf and again find a forever home that someone else might love more. Like, it's not that it's a bad book, it's just that I didn't connect with it, and someone else definitely will connect with these books. So these are coming off my shelves, and we get to pick the next book for this video. So let's spin the wheel to see what the next book is that we're going to pick. I'm kind of excited to see what I could be reading next, because now, touch wood, bookshelf, touch wood, I think I'm out of my reading slump. Reading that book in a day really, really made me feel like I'm back and I'm not here to play around. So here is the wheel, and I'm going to spin the wheel to see. As you can see, the wheel looks a bit different. I accidentally pressed shuffle. So now all my colours are out of order and it doesn't look pretty anymore. But that's okay. It's okay. I'll fix it before the next one, hopefully. But we'll spin. I've got 2 more prompts on here than last time. I've added a daily Wordle prompt, and I've added another prompt that is to read the sequel to the last book I read. And the last book I read is not this book. So that's not a problem I have to solve right now. So let's spin the wheel and see what our next book is. Okay, a book I bought for the cover. Okay, I'm going to have to take a little bit of time for this because there's quite a few and I don't want to come back to you with like 10 options. So let me have a moment. Okay, I have made this choice really simple for myself and simple for your viewing experience. I'm not going to give you 3 books to choose from because I really, really want to read this book, and technically someone else bought it for me, but they bought it off my wish list and I added it to my wish list because of the cover. And I'm really, really excited to read this, and I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to give me Assistant to the Villain vibes. Maybe a little darker, who knows? But it is The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes. And I think I'm going to really enjoy this book. Again, someone else bought it for me, but I added it because of the cover, and it got added to my wish list that I would buy a book off if someone doesn't buy it for me. I normally buy books off my own wish list for myself anyway. And I chose this for the cover. It's sparkly, shiny. I just liked it. I'm a graphic designer, and a lot of the time I look at covers like this and sometimes I just really like certain aesthetics. So this one fits the prompt and I'm very excited to read it. And it is technically a freebie because it just got added to my TBR. This is the last book to be added to my TBR and it comes straight off if I read it. So that's a free space. I feel like that just didn't even get added if I just read it now. So yep, I'm going to go into this and I'll update you in a little bit. So I'm back. We're ignoring the hair. I've had my hair in a ponytail all day and I've been working, so it's just fluff city over here. Now I'm procrastinating said work, so I thought I'd update you guys on the book I'm reading. So I am 71 pages in, chapter 12. I'm reading this very slowly because I've been so distracted with other things in my brain. I am enjoying it so far though. I have literally laughed out loud countless times. I'm having a great time. It's giving me the same energy as Assistant to the Villain did, but a little bit more, not dark, but yeah, sort of a little bit more dark than Assistant to the Villain is. Like, there's a little bit more happening that you could think that something darker could happen. And I like that about this book so far. But being on chapter 12, I've been reading this for 3 days. It's taking me a while. And even though I'm enjoying it, and even though this is taking me a while, I'm thinking at the moment, I want to spin the wheel for a third book and keep reading this book, but also when I'm slowing down with this, maybe picking up that third book. So I'm going to spin the wheel now and see if I can get like a novella or something off my shelf to read. And maybe this will get me through both of them at once, because I'm enjoying this and I don't want to forget about this because I'm enjoying it. But I want to have something going at the same time to keep my brain going. This is purely an experiment. So let me get the wheel up so we can spin it and see what we can do with this. Okay, so once again, here is the wheel. And I'm hoping for a prompt that matches a book that I really feel like I've got the book sitting in my lap. And I'm hoping it gives me good luck for a prompt that will match this one so I can read this one. Because I think mood reading will help me get through the book that I'm currently reading and currently enjoying. I'm trying really hard not to go back into a book slump. So let's spin the wheel. Trade paperback. This is a trade paperback. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to have this as my third book. This is Six Scorched Roses. I think I said it right. Okay. It is the novella, I believe, prequel novella to the Serpent and the Wings of Night series that I really want to reread so I can continue that whole series and just binge the whole thing. I'm really in the mood for this. This would also match the last bingo square I need to get a bingo for a book bingo I'm doing in a Facebook group I'm in. I think this is going to do good things. This is going to be great. And if I read this, I think I could continue this and finish it before the end of the month. And I think that would be fantastic for my reading. This is also not a reread. I've not read this before. So this is going to be great for taking off the TBR.
All right, I'm so sorry for the jump scare. This is how I am this morning. I'm about to get ready to go to hydrotherapy. So it's a little bit of a slow morning this morning, but I thought I'd update you on my reading so far. We're on the last day of the month. So once again, I have not put this video off, but I've been reading so slowly that it has arrived at the end of the month and it's the last day. And let's be honest, I'm not going to finish this video today. I have read exactly half of The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating, and I haven't started this one yet. Even though I wanted to start this one to help me get through this one, I decided that I would push through to halfway point of this one before I started this one to motivate me. I actually think that having that book there as like a book that I needed to get to has motivated me to read this a bit faster. The reason I'm reading this book so slow is not because this is bad at all in the slightest. I'm just not focusing on things, and then I had a job come in that required my undivided attention while I was designing it. So I just haven't had the focus for this, and I had to force focus, and it helps that the internet wasn't working last night, so I couldn't watch videos on the TV, so it forced me to read this. So I'm exactly halfway through this book, page 251, and that's chapter 41, I believe. So this essentially, because I didn't talk about it, because I was so excited in the last clip to pick a different book as well, that I didn't actually talk to you about what this is actually about. So essentially, this is following the Dark Lord, and we also have the perspective of Arabella. And she is a descendant of a heroic bloodline, and the Dark Lord needs a descendant of the heroic bloodline to marry to get access to an heirloom. So he kidnaps her, and he marries her, and she inadvertently by being kidnapped and marrying him, has escaped her very controlling, overbearing father who locked her in a tower when she doesn't obey him. So this book is essentially giving the same thing that Assistant to the Villain gives me with the humor, and sort of giving a humorous aspect to the Dark Lord and being the Dark Lord's love interest. And I said in the last clip also that it was darker than that, and it is. It's not like dark as in like dark romance, but there's more violence in this than there is in Assistant to the Villain, because this person is more purely a villain, in my opinion. I'm really enjoying it. The thing is, it did take me a bit longer to focus on because of outside external elements. So like, that's neither here nor there. But I noticed that when I got to a point, because if you don't know me yet, my name's Jacinta and I like dragons. And I get to a point in this where a dragon gets introduced, and I noticed my interest was piqued so much more. I don't know what that means about me. And I don't know whether that's against the pace of this book for my reading. But as soon as the dragon got introduced, I was like, yeah, I'm here for it. Fantastic. I was grinning. It was great. Like, don't get me wrong. Before the dragon was introduced, I was laughing at a couple of the jokes. I was grinning. It was like things were happening, but they're happening at, I wouldn't say a slow pace, but slower than I think my reading wants at the moment, or my brain wants at the moment, I should say. And so when we got to the dragon part, I was like, hell yeah, I'm here for it. This is going to be fantastic. Like, I can see where this book is going. It's not by any means a complicated plot. I can see what's going to probably end up happening. I can see the conflict that's approaching, but I'm having a good fun time, and that's what these books are meant for, if I'm being honest. So I'm enjoying myself. I am purely enjoying myself, having a great time, and I am halfway through. I'm going to try my very best to finish this book today. I think I've got 251 pages left. Obviously, because I'm up to page 251, I'm exactly halfway. So, yes, stands to reason, 251 pages left. But I think that I can, if I don't watch any other videos, I can finish this, because ideally, I'm going to read this before I leave. I'm also going to read it in the car when I'm waiting to go in. And I'm going to be reading it afterwards, because this is one of those days where once I do hydrotherapy, I'm not really functional for the rest of the day physically. So I can sit and just read this. So I'm hoping to get through this today. If it slows down and I start to slog through it, I am going to start this. So out of this whole book, this part here is the actual story, because the rest of this is the author's note, the glossary, and it's also the first few chapters, I think, or maybe, yeah, first few chapters, like 4 chapters of The Serpent and the Wings of Night book, which I have already read, but I'm going to reread, so I don't feel the need to read it out of this book. So this book is actually on its own 154 pages. And in saying that, the margins are quite large. If you can see that, margins are quite large. And whenever a part gets started in this, which there are quite a few parts, whenever a part gets started, that whole page is taken up, and then the next page is blank. So I think that ideally this is a faster read. I actually think if you saw that chapter I just showed you too, that was a half-page long chapter. So I honestly just think that that's going to be a faster read for me, whereas this one's taking a little bit more concentration. So I might even at some point today pick this one up. If I could finish both of these today, that would mean that I finished it in this month, and then the video goes up tomorrow, and that would be ideal for me. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think having faith that I'm going to finish this book and then maybe read this book tomorrow is where I should be thinking. But that's where I'm at the moment. I am as I said, hoping to finish this video fairly soon, so hopefully it doesn't lapse over into the next month too much, because then I can start filming the next episode and not worry about it being outside of the month, since I had such a horrible month last month with my reading. So I'm trugging along, and I will let you guys know when I finish this book, or even when I start this book. We'll see what happens next. Well, that didn't go to plan. So it took me a little bit longer to finish the book than I initially thought it would. Don't mind my marshmallow state. I'm very cold. So I have in fact finished The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes. I've now finished this book. I don't know whether my interest was piqued more or less necessarily. I think I was hoping that their proximity wasn't so reliant on this heirloom that they had in this book, because it was almost like every time she needed space, it was like, oh no, you can't have space because it's getting unstable. And it got to a point where it was actually tedious for me. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this book. I think it gives the same vibes as Assistant to the Villain. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's sort of like a play on your typical villain sort of story. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I enjoyed that it's just a funny, chaotic time. I was cackling at a lot of parts. Honestly, my partner kept looking at me funny because I kept laughing at things that just out of the blue happened in this book. I also was rooting for the female character. I love a strong female character. I love a female character lately that finds her own strength. She doesn't need anyone to help her find that strength, and she puts her foot down and she finds her own autonomy and she takes it by force if she has to. And I just love that aspect of this book. So me starting off this saying that I didn't like their forced proximity, the way it was happening, isn't to say that the book is bad at all. That's just my personal experience and the reason it didn't get up to a 4-star for me. It was going to be a 4-star, but I decided on 3.5 stars for this book. I did enjoy it. I do want to continue. It is a chaotic fun time, like I said, and it's honestly one that doesn't take itself too seriously, and I like that in a book. I like that I don't have to sit there going, oh, these really drastic things are happening, and then there's no humor. I love humor in a book. So this does that well. I think for my enjoyment, I like forced proximity, don't get me wrong. I love when people are forced into an environment where they have to talk to each other or they have to get along or whatever. But I didn't like why they had the forced proximity, because I understood that they couldn't have proximity because of this heirloom, and then they could have proximity because of the heirloom, and then they had to have proximity. And it always, whenever they had to be next to each other or near each other, it was always when she needed a break. And I don't think I liked that sort of part of it. I think that rubs me a little bit the wrong way. So yes, it's a 3.5 out of 5 stars. But I think that if I wasn't in the headspace I'm in at the moment, I probably would have liked it a little bit better. I think that a lot of my reading lately has been reliant on my headspace and how I'm doing and my focus level, because this did have a lot of the times that I was reading it, I was losing focus, and I don't think it was the writing. I think it was my personal experience. So again, reading this at a different time, I might have enjoyed it more, but at the moment it's a 3.5. Again, I'm having trouble with 5 stars this year. I have yet to get a 5-star this year. It's been since September last year since I had a 5-star. So I am getting a bit to the point where I'm reaching the end of my tether. Sorry, a fire engine just reversed at the front of my house. Okay. My dog is not a fan. Not a fan. Give me a moment. I'm having a lot of trouble finding a 5-star this year, and I am losing faith in my favorite genre, which is fantasy. But I'm trying my best to remain positive. I think I'm just not picking up the right books to get a 5-star, and that's okay. I will get there. I'm trying to have faith. I might even do an experiment soon where I just read straight fantasy and not romantasy. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe it's all just seeming like the same stuff over and over again. I don't know. I've got to do a little bit of experimentation with my reading, but hopefully I'm hoping to get a 5-star before the middle of the year at least. But in the meantime, since I finished this book last night, I laid in bed for an hour this morning and started 6 Scorched Roses, and I'm now halfway through this one. So this isn't very long at all. It's 150 pages or so, and I'm up to page 70 something, 74. So far this is actually pretty good. I'm pretty sure this is set before any of the series starts. So this is obviously a part of the Crowns of Nyaxia series, if you know the Serpent and the Wings of Night book and that duology. I think that's called the Nightborn Duet, and the next one's the Shadowborn Duet. I'm unsure what the next one after that's called. But like, there's a whole lot of books in this series, like duologies, and I think this comes before them. I'm not quite sure. But this essentially is following Lilith, and she's living in, I wouldn't call it a kingdom, maybe like a town/city that used to be in abundance, and then one day the crops basically all died. Hello, baby. Hello. And one day the crops basically all died, and her father, I believe, he cursed the god, and now the god is cursing them. So her father is now passed away from this sickness that, from what I can gather, essentially causes people to slowly turn into dust. It's hard to explain from what I've read so far, but she keeps talking about how they're like shedding skin. It's like skin dust. So when someone passes away, they have to sweep them away. And it's kind of a little bit disconcerting when you put it that way. But like, we're in a world full of vampires and everything, and she is working on medicine to help her sister who has this ailment, because the whole city at this point has this ailment and is like not surviving. They're basically dying off. And she's working on this medicine, and she figures vampire blood will help. And so she goes to this mansion on the hill where this vampire lives, and basically makes a deal with him to take his blood in return for giving him these roses. And she won't tell him what's so special about the roses, but he's intrigued enough to agree. That's basically what this book is about. And being halfway through it, I think I'm in the middle of the chapter with the 3rd rose, because I think she's going to need to visit him 6 times, she said. And so there will be 6 roses, I believe. Maybe there's only 4. Maybe I miscalculated. I could be wrong. But like, I'm enjoying this so far. Amazingly, for a book so small, I am enjoying this more than books that I've read a lot this year. And I don't know whether that means something, whether it means I should be going back to this author and her series, which I will, or whether it means that maybe I should just, like, I know authors that I've loved before. Maybe I should just stick with those authors for a little bit and then come back to other ones that I don't agree with as much. But in saying that, I have tried authors that I've tried before this year, and ones that I've like loved before, and it just hasn't quite hit this year. So I don't know. I'm like up in the air with that as it is, but I'm halfway through this. I'm enjoying it so far. I'll probably update you guys in another hour when I finished it, and then that'll be the end of this video. But yeah, so far this is actually going a lot better than I thought it would for such a short book, and I'm really enjoying it. Okay, now I'm back literally an hour later, like I promised, and I've now finished 6 Scorched Roses. And I don't know why I was so confused, whether it was 4 roses or 6, because it's in the bloody title. I should have just known that, but you know, brain's not working right now, whatever. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm contemplating whether this is a 5-star or a 4.5 star. This is such a short book. It's 150 pages. I can't believe how good that was. Why is that so good? Why have I waited this long to get a book with a feeling like that. Like, I'm trying to convince myself that it's a 4.5 because it's so short and I really want more of it. Oh my god, I need to really think about this. Also, me saying this comes before the whole series, I was wrong. It comes after the first book, definitely, because he is waiting to join the people in the first book. I don't know what to rate it. I haven't had a 5-star in so long that I'm like, it's like I'm trying to convince myself it's not. You know what? No, stuff it. This is a 5-star. This is a 5-star. Because if I'm trying this hard to convince myself that it's not, or trying to find what was wrong with it to make it lose some rating, this is a 5-star. I need to just, this is a 5-star. Okay, I'm leaving it at that. I can't believe I just complained to you an hour ago about not having a 5-star all year, not having a 5-star since September. Why did this just hit me upside the head and shock me? I really loved this. I loved the connection that they formed. I loved that she was working towards something through this whole book, and she just, her growth in this short amount of time was just so good, so fantastic. And even the fact that I was so like blasé reading it, I didn't get the plot twist until it happened. I didn't even clock what was going to happen. And for that to happen to me is a lot. Why is this the shortest book possibly that I've read this year? Why is this the best book that I've read? I know I rated her first book a 5-star when I read it a couple of years ago, but I didn't. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I got a 5-star before the middle of the year. Now, it took me until May, I know, but I got a 5-star on the 2nd of May. Okay, I'm just going to sit with that. Let's go into the numbers for my TBR and what we got down to in this video. So, throughout this video, I read 3 books, and in the course of this video, I am unhauling this book and subsequently its sequel. So that takes 2 books off. So at the end of the last video and the start of this video, I had 122 books remaining on my physical TBR. Now, I have bought some books since then. So my TBR has gained some before I took some off, unfortunately, but also fortunately for my reading. One of the books that I obtained during this video was this book, so I then read it in this video. So again, that's a free spot. So basically, I don't actually know how many books I hauled in the course of this video, but we're ending this video with 125 books on the physical TBR. So I've added 3 books, but we're still under half of my books that I have, that I own. Under half is unread. So I'm still in the positive, a little bit, slightly. I'm going to have to really amp up my reading before I buy any more books. I think there's, if I'm being completely honest with you, there is a book coming out very soon. But I've told myself I have to read at least 5 books before I get it. Off my TBR, that is. So I'm giving myself little plans to keep on top of it, but I'm so happy with how this video went. So happy I got a 5-star finally. I can't believe that I got it out of this. Like, I didn't expect it at all. Like, even when I was halfway through the book, I didn't expect it. I didn't know where it was going. What a good way to end this video. And I think my next video is going to be my monthly wrap up of the 2 months. So if you do want to hear more of my thoughts on this once I finally get my brains together and actually stop being so in shock, that will be in that video, which will be my next video uploaded hopefully within the next couple of days. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you had a good time, and if you did, please visit my channel and watch some of my other videos. I'd be so appreciative if you stuck around as well, so I can talk to like-minded people that love books just as much as I do. So until the next video, I hope to see you there, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your month. Bye.